DreAllDay.com.
Now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is, the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unified philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is what to invest in. I'm going to tell you specific things when you are investing, what specifically you should invest in on a high level. Before we get into that, I'll remind you of two things. First of all, my daily motivation message and Monday motivation message, guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day or your week, respectively. You should be getting these, and it's free to join the community. All you got to do is text me at my number, 305-384-6894. And when we start sending those messages out again, you'll be getting those straight to your phone, again, free of charge to join the community. And as soon as we start sending them again, you'll know about it because we'll tell you. And then you can even tell us how often you want to get the messages. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That's the place where I do all my coaching. If you would like to have me as your direct coach, that is the only way that it happens. I don't coach anybody anywhere else other than Work on Your Game University. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link is down below in the description, where if you see things that sound like it will help you and take you in the direction where you want to go, then you can schedule a time to get on a conversation with us. We'll talk about where you're at, where you want to go, where you feel like might be in your way. And if you feel like we can help you and feel that you'd be a good fit for what we're doing, we'll tell you where we go from there. Again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That out the way, let's get into the topic here today, which is what to invest in. Now, we all, if you listen to this show on a regular basis, you understand the concept of investing in yourself. We understand an investment is about putting something in now and getting a lot more back on the back end. Now, this is what makes investing a discipline, because there is often no immediate gratification for it. It's usually a delayed gratification, meaning you don't get to see the return on an investment when you make the investment. You don't get the return until later, which means you got to have some discipline in doing this. And again, this is the reason why many people don't invest. So today we're going to talk about the things that you should invest in and why they are worth the investment. And often these things that I'm going to share here today, these are things that produce immediate returns, instant gratifications, even though they are investments. So you not only get instant gratification, but also delayed gratification. So often with these things I'm going to share here today, you get both. So let's get into it. Point number one, topic once again is what to invest in. Number one is invest in speed. Speed. Anytime you can get to an outcome faster through an investment, it is worth investing as much as you possibly can, because time is the most valuable resource you have, and it is the only non-renewable resource you have. So if you're going to invest in anything that allows you to create speed, to get the same outcome faster. Because when you run out of time, you cannot get it back. All the other things you can invest in, you can get back. All the other things you can invest, you can get back. You can get money back. You can't get time back. So any way that you can save time, take advantage of it. When you hire a coach, you hire a trainer, you hire a consultant, you get access to someone's brain or knowledge or information in any way, you are investing in what? Achieving an outcome faster with their help than you would achieve it by yourself if you were able to achieve it by yourself. This is a speed investment, not an information investment. I've talked about personal trainers. I know a lot of people in the fitness and training space. When people hire a trainer, what they're hiring the trainer for is to either A, to achieve the outcome at all, because you wouldn't have achieved it on your own, or B, to achieve the outcome faster, which maybe you would have figured it out on your own, but maybe you wouldn't have. For example, just today when I'm recording this on a Sunday, and on this upcoming Wednesday, 3 days from now, I have an appointment with my guy Brian, who is a physical therapist down here in South Florida. I'm going to meet with him because I'm having some issues in my lower leg from 20 plus years of running and jumping off my legs, but specifically my left leg. I need to go see him because I'm having some issues there and I haven't been able to run. I took the last week off from running, even though I didn't plan to, simply because I'm not able to hit the speeds that I want to hit or run with the I'm having some pain from doing the things that I'm doing. Now, if I didn't go see him or didn't know him or didn't want to do anything, I could maybe just take some time off. It might be a week, might be a month, might be 6 months, might be a year, whatever. And maybe things will just heal up and then I can go back to working out on my own without talking to Brian at all. But going to see him, the reason I'm going to see him and the reason I'm going to pay him is because I'm trusting that whatever insight or knowledge I get from Brian is going to help me resolve this issue faster than if I had to resolve it on my own, or if I tried to resolve it on my own, which I might not be able to figure out. So I'm not only paying to get it resolved, period, I'm paying to get it resolved faster. And I'm willing to spend my money in order to do that because this thing, my ability to run and run pain-free and run at the speeds that I'm used to running, all of them are important to me. Because they're important, I'm willing to invest in them. Everybody understand this? And you need to apply the same framework to any aspect of your life that is important. I'm paying for the speed. Because if I didn't know Brian at all, and I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody, I could either just keep running and deal with the pain, or I can just take some time off and hope the stuff goes away, or I can maybe go see another doctor or something and see what they come up with. The whole point is I'm going to him because I trust that he can help me achieve this outcome and achieve it faster than I would by myself. Okay? And so I'm not paying for his information. I don't really care about his information. All I care about is the outcome. Now he's going to give me some information, but he's the one who has all the information. I'm not going to go there with a notebook and write down everything he says. I just need him to tell me what the issue is, tell me what the things that I need to do, which I'll probably be able to remember, and then I'll just go do them. That's it. Or I'll write them down, take notes on my phone or something like that. Just a couple notes. Do this exercise, this exercise, this exercise. That's all I need to know. We can film it one time so I can see what it looks like. That's it. I'm paying for the speed. Okay, so you can, for example, in your business, invest in some software or a tool that can help you get something done faster than you would get it done without the software or the tool. You should invest in the software or the tool. Why? Because of speed. Again, do you want to get the outcome done faster? Does it matter that it happens faster? Yes, it matters that it happens faster because you're going to die one day. All right, so the faster you get things done, the more likely you get things done, period. Because one day you won't be any time left. So every time you delay something, you're making a bet that you're going to have time. You don't have time. Money can be replaced, folks. Time cannot. This is a simple concept that many people violate every single day. You hold on to the money, like, let me just hold on to this money and I'll just use my time. But the problem is you run out of time, it's over. You run out of money, you keep playing. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is what to invest in. Number 2 is invest in insight. What is insight? I did a deep dive on insight in episode 1177. Insight exists on a higher level than information. It's on a higher plane. Information is just raw data, facts, whatever you want to call it, stuff you can find on Google or they'll get fed to you by some AI bot. Insight is about how to use the data and facts that you have in a way that is relevant to your particular circumstance or situation. And this is a very important distinction because if all you needed was information, everybody, then you get on Google, choosing some AI bot that doesn't even cost you money, and you can get all the information you want for free. Go to the library. Is it a library in your town? Probably. At least one of them. The library has 1,000 books in it. Probably more than that. You can check out, you can sit in there all day and read as many books as you want for free. All the information is there. So none of you has an information problem. What you have is an insight problem. Insight is about which information, when to use it, where to use it, how to use it, and why to use it. That's what insight is about. So if you can't answer those questions, it doesn't matter that you have the information. Now, does it? You can have a whole bunch of information and still be lost. All right, which is where many of you reside right now because you don't have the insight of where do I apply this? That's the question you should be asking. And you need help figuring that out. That's the reason why you invest in insight. Is everybody with me here? Again, although we have access to artificial intelligence, we got access to books, we got access to Google, many people still feel that they lack the information to achieve their outcomes. And I know that this is true because I talk to these people every day. You have the information. Okay, so it's not information that you don't have. See, many people say they need information, but it's not actually what they need. What they need is insight. But many people are not familiar with the concept of insight, so they say information, what they actually mean is insight. You don't know what to do with it. That's insight. Insight fills the gap of how do I use what I have. And you can apply that not just to information, but anything. If you're an athlete, for example, and you want to play volleyball, or you want to play basketball, or you want to run track, or you want to play football, but you're not good at it, it's not that you don't have the raw ability to do something. You simply don't know how to use it. This is something that I did when I first got online. I was, many of you know this, the first 10 years when I was online, I was publishing basketball content for basketball players. And what was I showing them? I wasn't showing them how to be tall or how to have arms and hands or how to walk and chew gum. I was showing them how to take the physical abilities that they had, possibly, and how to practice in such a way that they would become better at playing basketball, dribbling, shooting, passing, dunking, footwork, etc. I wasn't teaching them the raw ability, like, again, having arms and legs and running and jumping. I was showing them, here's how you move your body with the ball so that you can be better at playing basketball. I was giving them the insight of how to use your body to get better at the game. I wasn't showing them how to have a body. I was showing them how to use their body. And then actually I went and found someone. It was my friend Maria, who she started helping me add in. It was my idea, but I recruited her to help me add in. Here's how you can work on your body so that your body can better perform on the court. She was helping me, and at the same time, I'll record the stuff and put it out so the players can help themselves. Just yesterday, as a matter of fact, I was in a mall here in Miami, and I ran into a young man. I forget the gentleman's name, but he told me he plays at Florida International University, and he's a sophomore. He said, "Man, I used to watch the videos on YouTube. You're one of the reasons why I got to play college basketball." And I'm sharing that to say, a lot of players were able to improve their games. I'm not giving myself credit for their success, but I played a small role, let's say 1% of the success of them able to improve their games, because I was showing them just how to practice. Again, I wasn't introducing them to the concept of practicing. I was just showing them how they could do it better. That's insight. That's what insight is about. It's not about me telling you to do something brand new that you never even considered. It's about helping you do the thing that you may be thinking about doing, but doing it in a more efficient and effective way, such that you can achieve the goal, period, or achieve the goal faster. See, insight contributes to speed. Is everybody following what I'm saying here? When you have the right insights, it allows you to move faster. It allows you to get to your outcomes faster, because otherwise you wouldn't know how to get to the outcome. That's what the insight does. Fills in that gap. Insight is usually the result, folks, of plugging into the brains of people other than yourself. Why? Because other people think differently from you. They apply things differently from you. And the good thing about insight is the more high level people you can have around you, all the insight from all of those people can help you. This is the value of having a mastermind, for example, where you have multiple people and you're learning from more than just yourself. Right? And mastermind can be 2 people. Mastermind can be 20 people. Usually they're not that big, but you get my point. And the whole value of it is leveraging the law of association. Because when you associate with people who are playing the game at a high level, whatever game you're in, they can help you and you could possibly help them. Possibly. It doesn't always have to be in both directions. So in a coaching situation, for example, you don't have to help your coach. The coach is there to help you. That's why you hire them. You get it? You join a mastermind with 5 people. Maybe everybody's contributing in some way, and you get to take, you get to give. All right, depending on the situation. Maybe you can be in both. That's the ideal situation. So you want to associate with other high level individuals. It is the value you get also from investing in speed. Because again, when you have insight, you can move faster. And other people can help you solve problems that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to solve. So you get faster and you get to do things earlier and you get to do things, period, that again, otherwise maybe you would not have achieved. So you think of a personal trainer, a consultant, a teacher, a coach, all of their jobs to help you achieve things faster. And people ask me often, especially when I'm being interviewed on other people's platforms, people say, Dre, you wrote all these books and you've created all this content. What was the genesis of this? Where did it all come from? And I always give credit to my mother. I grew up with 2 parents at home, and my mother was as far as the academic stuff, my mom was kind of in charge of that. And she's an educator herself. So she was basically a cheat code for my sister and me, because she was teaching us at home stuff that other students could only get if they happen to have a good teacher at school. We had a good teacher in the house. So I was into reading from a very young age, and the reading gave birth to the writing. And then when the internet came out, I put it all together, and that's how all the books and the blog and the articles and all that stuff came to be, because I was already in it early. A point being, I got a head start on doing all the academic stuff because I already had a teacher in the house. All right, that was insight that I didn't have to pay for. All right, that was kind of luck of the draw. That I just had a parent that I had as a parent. And my sister as well benefited from it. So point number 3, today's topic, once again, what to invest in. Third thing you want to invest in is access. Access. Access can get you both of the things that we talked about in points number 1 and number 2. So you pay for access, you get not only insight because you're around other brains, but you also get speed, because again, insight leads to speed. So if you pay for access to get insight, then you get speed. It comes as a package deal. See, a way to achieve your goals faster and to get insights into how to use resources you already have access to, or to use them better and to use them more fruitfully, all you had to do is get access. You get access to the right things or people, you get all this stuff in once. So understand, folks, this is an investment. This is why the title of this episode is the title of the episode. I need some of you to just wrap your mind around this concept, because the only thing that is in your way between where you are right now and where you want to be is a lack of the mindset around investing. Many of you just don't have an investor mindset. You don't look at things as investments, you look at them as costs. And this is the reason why you don't want to just spend all your money on costs, because you can't get anything back. So therefore you don't do things because you don't see them as investments. If you can change your mindset and then start investing in the right things, things can start taking off for you right now. And you don't need a change in resources. You already got the resources. You just don't have the mindset to use it. So sometimes you have to pay, folks, for the opportunity to get closer to the things that you want. And proximity is power. Proximity is power. And if you're willing to pay to get closer to the things that you want, that gives you power. So to get power, you got to invest, folks. Remember, power comes as a package deal with responsibility and ownership. And if you want responsibility, there's a payment for that. There's a payment for responsibility. There's a cost to being responsible for things. And that responsibility brings with it power. Again, it's a package deal. You can't take one without taking the other. It's impossible. If a bunch of responsibility gets dumped in your lap, even if you didn't ask for it, you automatically have more power, even if you didn't ask for it. Automatic. They cannot be separated. It's like you go to I was in where was I? I was in Atlanta, Georgia, maybe a month or two ago, and I bought a bottle of water, just a single bottle of water, and I was scanning it at the self checkout at Walmart. And for some reason, the scanner was scanning it as if it was like an 8-pack of water. And the person at they had that one person floating around the self checkouts just to help you out. And they were saying, well, it looks like that bottle, somebody had pulled it out of the 8-pack. And that's why it's scanning as if it's the 8-pack when it's just one. You got to go and get one of the single ones. And then I went and did it again, and then it worked. The point being, one of those bottles in an 8-pack can't be pulled out of the 8-pack. You got the whole thing. You get all of it, or you get none of it. But you can't just take one. And somebody had pulled it out, and that's the reason I got fooled, or the machine got fooled when I went to do the checkout. Power and responsibility are like the 8-pack. All right, they come together. You cannot separate them out the pack, at least until after you pay for them. Closer you get to the things that you want, the better the chance you actually get them. Many people have desires for things while they are existing so far away from the thing as to not even be able to be eligible to actually get it. In other words, many people want things, but you are so far away from it, you have no proximity that you can't even see it. You want it, but you can't even, your eyes can't even, your vision can't even get to it because you're so far away from it. But if you pay for access, then you get proximity. You get much closer to the thing. Paying for access is one way to solve this problem. If you're I'll give you another example of this, paying for access, because proximity is power. Let's say you're a young man and you want to meet the right type of woman, or a young woman, you want to meet the right type of man. You don't have to be young, as a matter of fact. Just say you're a man, period. You want to meet a woman. You're a woman, you want to meet a man. And the place that you live right now is some small town in the middle of nowhere, or at least it feels like the middle of nowhere, and there are not that many eligible people around who you would like to deal with, all right, by your estimation. Well, one of the things you might need to do is physically move your location where you live, your residence, to somewhere where there are more eligible people that are along the lines of what you're looking for. All right, proximity is power. All right, being in a place that you want to be in to where you are eligible to meet the right type of person. I live in Miami, Florida. It's a very populous place. It ain't the biggest city in America. You got your New Yorks, you got your LA's, Chicago's, Philadelphia's, but this place has a lot of people. And if you're looking to meet people, this is a great place to do it. This is a great place to meet people. As the weather's nice, people are outside all the time. It's basically year round. People go to gyms. People are health conscious. People go to events. This is a great place if you just want to see and be seen and meet and be met. This is a great place to do it. I'm not saying this is the only place. I'm saying this is a great place for it to happen. The proximity here is worth something. If that's one of your priorities, is meeting people and being met, seeing people and being seen, the proximity here is worth the investment that it will cost you to live here. And the cost of living here is not low, but the proximity is worth it. That's the investment. If that matters to you, again, it depends on what your priorities are. What does that matter to you? So paying for access is one way to solve this problem. A few weeks ago, I was talking to this business guy down here in South Florida, and he was strongly suggesting to me to join the Chamber of Commerce down here. And one reason I had never joined the Chamber of Commerce, I had some engagement with some of the chambers. There's several chambers. Like every town has its own Chamber of Commerce. I've actually done some speaking gigs for some chambers and things like that. One of the reasons I had never joined the Chamber of Commerce because most of their events are in the evenings, and I usually go to bed around the time their events actually begin. So I didn't really see the value in it. But what he stressed to me was that just being a member of the chamber will allow you to have proximity to other people who are doing business in town, which is a valuable thing. He was right. It was a good point. Access to other people, all right, which is known as what? What do we call that, folks? Networking. Access to other people is networking, and is also known as the law of association. It says what? You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. So if you pay for access to get around certain people, you become more like them. So you need to identify the type of people who you want to be around and pay to get access to where they hang out at, because it might cost you some money. Is it worth it? Again, I can't answer that question. You can. Is it worth it? This is something that is invested in, folks. It's not something that just randomly happens to you with no investment. Again, even being in South Florida, as I'm explaining here, there's an investment that comes with having to living here, and paying the cost of living here is a investment. I can take the same amount of money that I spend to live here and move to fucking North Dakota and have a place that's 10 times bigger than the place that I got, with money left over, with what it costs to live here. All right, the cost of living here is not cheap, but I'm willing to make that investment, or at least I have been up to this point, because of the payoff of it. I'm paying for the proximity. I know what I'm paying for. And it's a conscious decision by me. And at one point, maybe I'll change my decision. But that's where it is. That's where I'm at right now. You got to make that same decision for yourself. Again, access that I get to certain types of individuals is worth it for me. Where do you need to be accessing people, and why? And is it worth it for you? Give you another example. There's a guy named Matt Ishbia. He's the owner. He just became the owner in the last, year or two, of the Phoenix Suns basketball team in the NBA. Now, Matt is a mortgage guy. He comes from the mortgage industry, made a lot of money with his company. And he got into, I heard him on an interview. He was on someone's podcast shortly after he became the owner of the Phoenix Suns. And Matt is not an old guy. He's probably about my early 40s. And he was asked, how do you get into these circles of being owner of an NBA team? There are only 30 teams in the NBA. And maybe by the time you hear this, maybe they'll be talking about expansion. They're thinking about, seems like the NBA is thinking about expanding to 2 more teams, but there's only 30 teams in the whole NBA. And owning an NBA team is a big deal to be one of the people in this fraternity of owners. Only 30 people in the whole world owning one of these teams. These are some of the most famous businesses in the world. Teams, NBA teams, like the LA Lakers is a very famous team, New York Knicks. So anyway, what Matt said was, because people may have the impression that to own an NBA team, all you have to do is, well, first of all, somebody has to be willing to sell their team, and then all you got to do is just have the money. As long as you got the money, when the team comes up, all you got to do is make a phone call and say, "Hey, I got the money," and you buy the team. It doesn't work that way. The way it works is you have to be an insider, meaning when a team comes up for sale, which is not that often, but when it does happen and the team is up for sale, you have to be in the inner circle of people who even get access to even be eligible to make an offer. So let's say if the Miami Heat came up for sale tomorrow, right? And they said whatever amount of money they said. Let's say I had the money. Right? I say I got the money. I got it in cash, and I'm willing to buy the Miami Heat. I might not even be in the email thread that announces that the team is willing to take offers. So someone else who is in that email thread, who has the same amount of money as me, they'll get to buy the team. I won't even get a chance to buy the team because I don't know the right people. I haven't done the work to get into the circle. So let me go back to help you understand why I'm even saying this. When Matt was talking about when he bought the Phoenix Suns, it was a several years process. He said for several years, he would go to a bunch of NBA events. He would have dinner with certain people. He would be in the places where the owners were mixing, and he had to work his way into the circle so that when the team did come up for availability, he was one of the people who got the email. He was one of the people CC'd when the message went out. And again, he didn't even know which team it would be or when it was going to happen or if it was going to happen in his lifetime. He had to pay and invest. Let's say not pay. It's not like somebody said pay $10,000 you can be in the circle. It's not like that. He had to invest in showing up in certain places, his time, his attention, his energy. He had to go to the dinners. He had to be at the events. He had to make his name known. He had to do certain things to get into the circle so that when the opportunity came, he was on a short list of people who knew about the opportunity. And then he was able to take advantage of it. Now, if you don't do those things, the opportunity could come up and you could have all the things logically, objectively, to where you could take advantage of it. But if you don't know about it, then you don't get it. And the reason you don't know because you're not in the circle. You're not in the circle because you haven't invested in getting access. Proximity is power. That's why all this stuff matters. All of it matters. All of it goes together. So you got to be willing to invest in getting close to the things that you want to be around. What are those things? You have to answer that question. Point number 4, today's topic, once again, is what to invest in. Number 4 is association. And you see how these pieces work together. You want to invest in association. We just talked about this in the 3rd point. I just gave you a lesson in it and telling you about this guy who got to buy the Phoenix Suns. You can't just walk up the street and buy a team, even if you have the money. There's a bunch of other people who got the money. They don't need your money. They want to sell to people who they know, like, and trust. If they don't know, like, and trust you, they ain't selling you nothing. That's how it works in many industries. We just talked about this. Associations are about tapping into other people who know things, who know people, and get you things done that otherwise you may not be able to get done for yourself, or you can't get them done as efficiently, or you cannot get them done as quickly. Association, you pay for this. These associations are worth money. In the business world, sometimes people are called middlemen. They may give themselves other names, go-betweens. All right, their job is to help you get access to other things and people that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. When I wanted to play professional basketball, I knew what my process was. First of all, I needed to get some game film. I played at Division III college. There was not much game film available. I didn't have any really good game film of myself because we were doing it on VHS back then. So I knew, first of all, I need to get some film. I got to get some video of me playing basketball against other good players and doing well. I went to an exposure camp, got that taken care of. Said, next thing I need to do is whoever's this footage to send it to a basketball agent and show them the footage so that they believe I can play at the pro level. And then they have to connect me with the associations that they have of overseas basketball teams so somebody can sign me, because I've never been out of the country before. So I didn't know anybody overseas. So how am I going to play overseas if I don't know anybody? Well, I need to connect with someone who does know someone. So I was willing to invest in making the association with the right person who knew the right people. That was the next thing that I did. I made a whole bunch of cold calls, got me an agent. The agent got me my first contract. That was an investment in association. You got to invest in getting these associations. This is the reason why we invest in getting around the right people. It's the reason why we invest in access. The reason why paid masterminds are paid and not free, because they're paying to get access to the right people. I told you there's a $50,000 mastermind that I want to join. I'm not paying because I want to learn from the person who's putting the mastermind together. I can learn a lot from that person for a lot less than $50,000. Right? They got a lot of stuff out there that costs less than $50,000. The reason I'm paying $50,000 because I want to be in the room with the other people who paid the $50,000. I want to access them. Those are the people I want to talk to. Everybody understand? This is why you invest in these things. This is the reason why coaching programs require financial investments. They ain't free, because you're paying for access to things that you otherwise would not get without the investment. Also, the reason why many people have goals and hopes that remain goals and hopes, because they are unwilling to invest in the access. In the what do we call it? Like the nightclub world, which I am not big in. You all know the time that most people are at the nightclubs, I'm sleeping. Actually, as a matter of fact, a lot of times I'm going outside to start my workouts, and people are just coming home from the nightclub. So I got the exact opposite schedule with these people, but I do know a little bit about how this world works. There are people who work in that world as basically as consiglieres. Their job is consiglieres. Their job is to be the go-between between the VIPs and the people who want access to the VIPs. So, for example, Tiger Woods. Everybody knows about that. Remember the scandal Tiger Woods was in about 15 years ago when he was messing with all these different types of girls and waitresses at restaurants and strippers and all this stuff Tiger Woods was doing. When he got introduced to this VIP world, because he was a VIP, he was a very popular athlete, he would go to nightclubs in Vegas and things like that. And there were people who worked in these spaces whose very jobs was to protect him from being bombarded by fans who were like the regular admission people, general admission people at the club, and the VIPs at the club. They were separated from each other so they didn't get bombarded. There was a consigliere person whose job is to, all right, hey, Mr. VIP, let me know. Any of these girls you see over here who you like, let me know. I'll bring whichever ones you want over here. You want some food? Let me know. You want some drinks? Let me know. You want tickets to some shows? Let me know. You need an Uber somewhere? Let me know. Their very job is to be the go-between between the two. And that person gets paid. All right, they get tipped at the end of the night. Their job is to be the access. Now, that's their job. There's a whole industry for this stuff. I'm telling you this to help you understand that this doesn't apply just in one space. It applies in many spaces. And you can either, again, pay for getting access to these people. You could be one of these people if you have the right connections and you know these things. This is all part of the game, folks. And you got to learn how to play the game. You want to get in the game, you got to learn how to play it. You got to know the rules, how it works. Again, that's why I gave you an explanation of the NBA on it. You can't just show up with your bag of money. A lot of people have a bag of money. If they don't know you, who would you take the bag of money from? The person you know or the person you don't know? Exactly. So let's recap today's class, which is what to invest in. We all understand the concept of investing in ourselves. Today, I'm going to tell you 4 specific things you should invest in on a higher level. Number 1, speed. Anytime you can invest in something that helps you get to an outcome faster, make the investment that will allow you to get to your goals faster, you are on the clock in life. So anything that can help you get speed, you should buy it. Number 2, insight. Insight exists on a higher level than information. Information is available freely. Every one of you has access to as much information as you want. What you really need is insight, which is how, when, why, where, and which information to apply. And number 3, access. Access can get you both of the things we talked about in point number 1 and point number 2, which is paying for the access, which gets you access to insight, which then allows you to move with more speed. So anything where you can invest in access, access to the room, access to a space, access to a geographical location. Go and invest in those accesses because, again, proximity is power. Number 4, association. All of association says you become the average of the people you spend the most time with. Sometimes you might need to spend money to spend time with certain people because they ain't available for free. This is why you invest in these things. This is why we invest in them. This is the reason you do this. Again, there's programs that I want to get into, not because I need the knowledge of the person who is running the program, but because I want to access the other people who have invested in the program, because I know associating with those people is going to help me get to a much higher level 3 times faster and 10 times higher than if I do everything by myself, even though I'm a pretty hard worker and I think I'm a pretty smart guy. I'm still willing to make those investments because I want the association. And that association is going to rub off all the things that they're doing, and that all the people that they know are now going to know me, and it's going to rub off on me, and it's a multiplier effect. This is why high level people make these investments. And I'm giving you this gain. So hopefully some of you will apply this stuff and start using it in your own life. All that said, text me so you're in my community. My number is down below in the description. Also, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Link is workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's the place where I do all my coaching. If you want to work with me directly, again, that link is down below in the description. We focus on 4 specific areas: mindset, strategy, systems, and accountability. Work with people all different industries, from the health industry to the legal industry to the financial industry to athletes transitioning, to people transitioning out of the military, to out of the government, to people who are writing books, to professional speakers, to consultants, to everyone in between. Again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all